Hmm. Okay. So, as a kid, watching Power Rangers was one of the biggest privilege and priority of their life. But as we grew up, this priority was not a priority anymore, and neither was it in privilege. So, do you think in this time where we have grown watching Power Rangers and have become adults who are doing jobs and living real life in this economy, is watching Power Rangers a fun? Is it an just a kid show? Well, the truth is, Power Rangers had some really good dark storylines. So much so that when you watch these storylines, you will just be mind blown that this was not just a kids show. It was more than that. Well, today I have brought you 5 shows that literally blows your mind just because it has some really good and dark mature storytelling. Well, let's find out. Okay, on number 5 we have Jungle Fury. Jungle Fury was a dark show, but it handled it so much well that it actually felt like a slice of life Power Rangers show, but it never was. It's a story that deals with toxic masculinity, toxic relationships, and even gave us one of the most mature storytelling aspects. By mature storytelling aspects, I mean how to like handle your life, work culture, I mean your personal life and your work culture life, and it also talked about themes like confidence and stuff. It was a really fun show. It had really great moments, especially RJ was one of my favorite characters and Wolf Ranger is my favorite. Now, talking about Jungle Fury, what's the storyline? Well, the story is simple. There is a guy named Daishi or an spirit that is named Daishi who actually goes inside, or you can say possesses a guy named Jared who was a student in an Paishwa training academy, which is an training academy, or you could say it's an order of the claw, or it is just the name Paishwa order of the claw, but it's an place where they used to teach you martial arts which was bonded with your spiritual animal inside you. So the story follows with Theo, Casey, and Lily. These are our 3 main protagonists, and these guys are about to stop Daishi, who has been released and has possessed Jared. And the story was so strong that in the end, our main character, which is Casey, actually frees Jared. I mean, Jared, who was possessed by Daishi, and it was really fun. It was a really good storyline where we found that making inner peace with our own animal spirit, or you could say making peace and harmony with ourselves, comes more importantly than anything else. Jungle Fury was a show that meant to say you are more than what you are. It was a show where my favorite episode was Blind Leading and Blind, where our master Swoop, who was also favorite master of RJ, my second favorite character of this show, comes and gives one of the best motivational lines. You should check this episode on yourself. It is a really good and mature show. It has so many themes that even if I say sum it up, it's not gonna end in this video. Well, yeah, you guys should watch Jungle Fury on yourself. This was just my job to say that what is Jungle Fury all about. You should go watch it on yourself. Well, following on to our next storyline, which is the 4th of this ranking list of the dark storylines of Power Rangers. It is none other than Power Rangers in Lost Galaxy. Well, this show was an hit and miss show, but still it does things pretty much well. Lost Galaxy is a season where things go really weird for the Power Rangers. They have to find a new home. Last season they were in space, right? Then why are they finding a new home? Well, they were never explained, to be honest. But still, yeah, things go really pretty much weird. Power Rangers in Lost Galaxy is a show where everyone are trying to find a new home, even the monsters themselves. And there is something called as the Quasar Sabers, and all the villains are behind that. In space, where all the villains actually come together, like not all together, but still they did. So in Lost Galaxy, things were pretty much weird for everyone. To be honest, I don't remember much about Lost in Galaxy because, yeah, there were themes like death, which was really dark. They literally killed and Power Rangers. Do you realize that? Do you realize that killing and Power Rangers is not simple thing? They just bring fire when they pose. Lol. So yeah, Power Rangers in Lost Galaxy was an hit miss show, but yeah, there had been themes like destiny, home, and even death. It was also a show all about legacy, hatred, and sacrifice. This show literally revolved a lot around sacrifice. Even Leo's character, which is the main character, actually comes a lot from his brother's death, which he carry forwards his legacy as a sacrifice. Yeah, Power Rangers and Lost Galaxy was a show that I don't remember much, but still, it was a fun show. You could still watch it, and it had some genuinely dark storyline moments. But okay, fine, let's move on to the next. Next. Okay, on number 3, we have a really expected storyline which we all loved. It was one of the most popular shows of our generation. I mean, I was not in that generation, but still, Power Rangers was a thing that was made for kids, and I was a kid. I am still a kid. It doesn't matter. So, this storyline is about Time Force. Power Rangers Time Force. It was a really well written, dark, and gritty storyline. It had the themes of noir cinematic style or cinematography style. Well, that really elevated this show. So, what is this story all about? In a very distant future, which is almost 3000 years later from now, we find that humans have really outsmarted ourselves. The technology is way ahead of its time, so much so that kids are basically born from tubes. They are manufactured. Among those tubes, there was one kid that actually looked like this. Yeah, so this guy is Rancic, and nobody helped him out. Everyone was scared of him because he looked different, and because of this, he started a cycle of hatred. And this cycle of hatred was meant to be stopped by Power Rangers themselves. This guy, whose name Rancic, travels back into the past, and he wants to destroy the time itself. This is a really good show where even if I explain you, the words shall look small. This show actually deals with many terrific topics like racial discrimination, because in the future aliens are on Earth. Do you realize aliens are on Earth and they actually are facing racial discrimination? It was not shown in the show, but yeah, we could predict it. And this storyline is not just about racial discrimination and hatred in general. This show meant a lot. It was all about how to break the cycle, and they really did. This was the first ever Power Rangers season where the villain actually was redeemed, and so much so in the very next season where the Power Rangers collaborate with each other, Rancic actually took the side of the heroes. I mean, damn, that was good storytelling all about redemption, hatred, racial discrimination, a lot more. Time Force is a story where you think that you know more about Time Force, but it needs its whole dedicated video, and I'll definitely try my best to bring a dedicated video on Time Force. So, what's our next storyline that is on top second, or the top 2 of the dark storylines? Well, let's find out. RPM. I'm not sure, but this will be the most biggest section of this whole video. By the way, if you guys are thinking that I'm skipping a lot of things, that's because I don't want to ruin your experience watching these Power Rangers seasons again. And literally, even though I haven't script, I'm actually going against the script and saying everything that's in my heart. There are moments where I'm doing fuck ups that will go into the last, it'll become one of those moments where bloopers will come. So yeah, Power Rangers RPM is one of my favorite shows of all time. The first season I ever watched in Power Rangers was RPM. I till this date have a crush on Summer. And yeah, Power Rangers RPM is a show where all of the humanity is gone except for one city. Yeah, it's that dark. Do you realize it's that dark? There is only one remaining city on a whole fucking planet. So yeah, now do you realize how dark this storyline is? But you will realize that why it's still on second place. Number one goes for a genuine reason. So Power Rangers RPM was one of my favorite show. It had all of the best characters I have ever imagined. I remember all the characters, and the storyline was so dark that the heroes, the person who created this Power Rangers technology, was actually the main villain in a somewhat sensible way, or not. Maybe she was a villain, but no. Okay, fine. Let's just clear things out of this whole mess. So, what is RPM all about? RPM is just all about a story of an virus that's called wach, which took over all of the internet and all the computers, infecting it with anything that had technology, and it almost wiped all of the humanity. And the last city, which is the dome city of Corinth, is now being protected by Power Rangers. That's it. You guys have to find, go watch it. But this show really had some one of the most darkest moments, but the creator said no, that's too much dark. Well, there is a character named Dylan who is an actual half robot and half human. He was actually infected by this Venjix virus, and he actually survived. Survived in not in the sense, but actually he was the main villain all along. It was just and flash that he's a villain and something like that, but shenanigans happen here and there, and the creator said no, that's too much dark, and that's it. So yeah, and with these four dark storylines, we have come to the number one dark storyline of this video. Well, RPM was so much dark that it almost killed the whole planet and left only one city. This could have not been achieved if this one Power Rangers season was never here. Every show I mentioned, from Jungle Fury to even Lost Galaxy, Time Force, RPM, if they all existed, the single reason is Power Rangers in space. I love this show. I am a new Chewbacca for this show. This show is just damn perfect. Damn perfect. So, what is this show about? Well, Power Rangers are now in space and they are gonna fight a huge army led by Astronomer, a new villain. And to be honest, Astronomer was a really good villain. Okay, yeah. But even she did redeem in a way, but it was actually brainwashing and stuff. So yeah, it would not generally count like an Rancic arc where she redeems herself. But she was raised to be hateful towards humans and stuff, Power Rangers especially. So what is this storyline all about? So Power Rangers go into space and they're gonna fight monsters and aliens. That's it. No, that's more than this. There's more than this. So Power Rangers in Space was the first season where there were so much dark storylines with Psycho Rangers and things like how you could become more than hated and stuff. It was a story all about identity crisis of many people. Our main character, who's Andros, by the way, he looks damn awesome. He's perfect. Even his character was really written well. He is one of my favorite Power Rangers. Andros, Dylan and Andros, perfect. So yeah, Andros is a guy who lost all of his Power Ranger friends, and the last team, that was Turbo, are now his new companions, and they do shenanigans all here and there. To be honest, Power Rangers in space cannot be summed up in one line or in this small section of this video. It needs its whole dedicated video, but to be fair enough, Power Rangers in space was more than just a kids show. I mean, I really have no words for it. Okay, you guys should watch In Space. I'm not gonna say more about In Space. In just simple layman terms, why is In Space the most popular show? Well, Mighty Morphin and Turbo, Alien Rangers, Zeo Rangers, and all these shows were actually genuinely made for kids with moral of the story and no actual storyline. Even Mighty Morphin was not a good story, to be honest. As me, who watched all Power Rangers season, I really felt that it was really lacking something, and that lacking something was fulfilled in Space, where dark themes were really chose well. Well, this happened because Power Rangers was all gonna shut it down, and this was the last ever season made in the Power Rangers brand name. And since it was the last show, they went all out, and after people, especially the ones who created this and one who produced it, really liked it and actually saw that there is potential, they made a very next season with Lost Galaxy. Then they actually made Time Force after Lost Galaxy, if not wrong. And RPM had the same storyline like in real life, where again this show was going to transfer from Disney to its original owner Saban, and it was the last show in Disney's banner. So the creators had full freedom to do anything, and RPM did anything and everything they could. So yeah, this is the video. You guys should go watch Power Rangers if you have time. If you think that Power Rangers is just for kids, and me who has watched these seasons, rewatched them, I just love them. It was fun of my time, and if anyone's gonna make fun of me, go out, fuck off, make fun of me. I don't care. Power Rangers was the best. Bye.